Hare Krishna. Ooh. That's fast. Obeisances, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So we are in the ocean where if even we drown, it's okay.
Yes, don't take down.
So this is a very nice ocean. And we are still continuing with our Vibhava section. We suggested a comparison that Alambana is like the basis. We said it will be, or even maybe the whole Vibhava, we can say it's like for the flow of rasa or taste, like a riverbed.
It's true.
Yeah. Like a riverbed. So I guess we studied this riverbed from different projections. So in other words, we see the vertical projection, the horizontal projection, that from where to where the devotional service is flowing. Then we study also in Krishna. We study Krishna in different aspects, as his age, his qualities, his form, which stimulate the flow. So we still have 4 qualities of Krishna that are unique to only Krishna, that are sometimes described as the 4 madhuris. They are the 4 madhuryas, the 4 sweetnesses. So this is Lila Madhurya, Prema Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, and Venu Madhurya. So Lila, Rupa, and Venu are pretty clear. This is pastimes, form, and the flute. But what concerns Prema, that means he is surrounded by very special, loving devotees filled with Prema. So that's Prema Madhurya. Okay, so let me share the screen so you can also see. What did I share? Did I share the screen? My screen, right?
Yes.
You see.
I see what is there, yes.
Now you see this, right?
Not yet. Oh, yes, now.
Yeah? Okay. Good. So, Leela Madhuryam, performer of wonderful activities. So on the picture you see this is a nice, it's a very famous picture, very impressive too, because you can see you have even the spaceships. You see the special Kartika Purnima. We had the previous Purnima just a few days ago, the sweet rice Purnima. So whoever is worshipping Govardhan, they have to offer sweet rice on that night and put it on the roof, so that first of all Krishna can taste, second of all that Giriraj is happy. So in Vrindavan you can see it's a whole big lila again for devotees. In the temple they put big vats. You know what's a vat? Tub. Big, like 50-liter pots in the temple courtyard in the night. No devotee is stealing that. So that's the Purnima before, and then within about 4 weeks we will have the next Purnima where Krishna is dancing his rasa dance. So this is a very special rasa dance, which illustrates also the fact that Krishna knows the time and place and circumstances, because he judges that this is the perfect occasion to play this rasa dance, and this rasa dance is especially dear to all the devotees. So is it dear to some devotees? Is it dear to you? Why?
It is dear to everybody.
Why?
Because they are women and dance and...
Okay, but he's doing this every Purnima. He's doing this very frequently. I mean, relatively frequently. Some dances are every night, practically. But this dance, once a year, is particularly dear to all the devotees.
It is on the full moon in autumn.
Yes, why? Yeah, by the way...
It's the most auspicious time for...
It's, by the way, a Japanese national festival. They all go on the roof and admire the moon. They look at the moon and admire. Oh, it's so amazing.
It's the most auspicious time for not to seduce the woman, but something like that.
Very. So what does it have to do with us?
With us? We are all lasting, you know.
So maybe we shouldn't.
And there is an example how it can be done in the spiritual world.
So the uniqueness of this day is that this is the universal Rasa Purnima, where Krishna invites all the gopis of Vrindavan, even those who are newly joined. They just got their Bhakti Sarvabhauma diploma and got born.
When you're online, it's possible. Where is the connection?
I will send. What's up? What's up?
What's up?
What's up, Mash?
Mama.
ممكن عندما يكتب ده ماشي ولا؟
Super. Hvala Krishna.
So maybe also some of us will be called one day by Krishna's flute. That's why it's very especially dear to the devotees. Okay, so that's...
What did they get, these gopis?
Pardon?
The freshly gopis.
Pardon?
Fresh gopis. What did they get?
Which diploma they need?
Yeah, which...
Well, at least Bhakti Sarvabhauma.
Must be.
Bhakti Sarvabhauma.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's blessings, Guru Parampara's blessings, plus you have to be in that rasa, not, not that you... Yeah, we are half joking, although it's not a joking matter, but it's the very important subject. Vikriditam Vrajavadubiridam Chavishnu, Shukadev Goswami says, we must hear because it purifies our heart from the disease, and we attain the highest form of bhakti. And even in Shri Upanishad, Srila Prabhupada says that the purpose of human life, the purpose of all existence is to join Krishna's dance. Hare Krishna. And you can see that there are many Krishnas here. There is Krishna. This is one of the reasons why Krishna is called Vishnu. Vishnu means Krishna from the rasa dance, who is Vishateiti Vishnu, who enters between each two gopis. You can see that he's not here. Do you see it? That you have Gopi Gopi Krishna, Gopi Gopi Krishna. It's not Gopi Krishna, Gopi Krishna. It's Gopi Gopi Krishna, Gopi Gopi Krishna. You see? Why? So that each gopi sees only one Krishna, so that they can focus and see that Krishna is only here for me. Okay. Well, she can probably see the other gopi on the other side, but almost yes. So therefore Krishna is able to... So you can see even Radharani, even Lakshmi is, so that's mentioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sri Lanka. This is mentioned by Goswami and the Srimad Bhagavatam that even Lakshmi is still performing austerity in Vrindavan. To get this special permission to enter Vrindavan.
Where is she making this austerity?
On the other side of the Yamuna. If you visited Vrindavan, basically this is just near Imlital, where the Yamuna swings closer to the temples. So you cross to the other side, and then several kilometers there's one village, and there is that temple. And every Thursday there is a depending on the season, there are fairs, where all the Brijbasis go and they bring some khichdi to Lakshmi, which sounds so ironic. Everybody's worshipping Lakshmi that she gives you, not khichdi, but paneer whatever, something very wonderful. But the Brijbasis compassionately bring some austerity food to Lakshmi because she is trying to enter the Rasa Lila. So that's not so cheap. This is not cheap.
But isn't it said that Lakshmi is always on the chest of the...
As a curl of golden hair.
Mm-hmm.
But she wanted to enter as a woman, and she couldn't. You know the reason why.
I've forgotten. I knew.
Yes. We all knew, and then we forgot. You know? Remember?
That is the brother of educated man.
Because her Baba is with reverence.
She didn't want to become the follower of the gopis. She didn't want to. She wanted to enter as gorgeously powerful Lakshmi, and in that she would disturb. She did not agree, because each gopi is a Lakshmi, so all of them are Lakshmis actually. So she didn't want to give up that mood, therefore she could not enter.
I heard yesterday that she she wanted to maintain this idea that Krishna is her husband.
Something like this, it's part of it, so that Krishna belongs to her, and she also wanted to be like more impressive than others. So that didn't allow her. This prevented her from entering until today. So that's mentioned in both in the Bhagavatam and in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, so this is Lila Madhuri. Then the next one is in short called Prema Madhuri. Here it says Premna Priyad Hikyam, that he is surrounded by unequal love of the Brijbasi devotees, which is not seen anywhere else. Even in Mathura, so we will see this a little later also mentioned, that Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwaraka is perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. Vrindavan is 100% sweet, Mathura 75% sweet, and Dwaraka 50-50. And Vaikuntha, I don't know what's the ratio, how many drops of sweetness is there. I mean, it's sweet, but mostly it's awe and reverence. So therefore, again, this is very special very special characteristic of Vrindavan. So in the Nectar of Devotion, we read that the gopis are so filled. So this is called Raga Anuraga, where even one blink of an eye to the gopis seems like a yuga. And when Krishna is passing behind to the covered boys, it seems like a very long time. So we blink every day tens of thousands of times, and we don't notice even. But for the gopis, they notice this nimesha, this very short moment. So that's a sign of very elevated level of love. Okay, 63, the famous quality, is Venumadhurya. So Venumadhurya although Venu is just one type of a flute, but it's probably the most sounded. So we have beautiful, sweet descriptions in the Nectar of Devotion. 63. This is 63. So it's a nice verse from the. We have several Gitas in the Bhagavatam. So we also have Venu Gita, but Venu Gita is 20. What? Venu Gita is another chapter. This is 35, where the gopis tell Mother Yashoda, when your son plays on his flute, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma and Indra, although they are supposed to be the greatest learned scholars and personalities, all become bewildered. So they are expert. Lord Brahma creates all the arts. And Lord Shiva, he knows everything that goes on in the universe. Indra, he enjoys the most wonderful music in the universe, not in the universe, in the heavenly planets. But when they hear the music of Krishna's flute, they can't figure it out. They cannot figure it out. So it's both sweet, and music is very much connected to the mathematical calculations. So mathematically they cannot figure it out. It's so complicated. So that's why they become bewildered. They are supposed to know this and they can't understand it. So our wonderful Krishna ki jai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it says that it penetrates the coverings of the universe, by the way, both ways, from here to the spiritual sky and from there here. And we have a nice quote in the 10th canto where Srila Prabhupada writes that the whole universe is produced of Krishna's flute playing, because it enters into Brahma's ears, he hears Om, he produces Vedas, and then the whole universe is built. So therefore everything around us is some transformation of Krishna's flute play. You just need to have the eyes and the ears, not the eyes, the heart, the loving heart. Lord Shiva stops playing his dim drum. The four Kumaras who are in trance that nothing can disturb them. You can drop a nuclear bomb and they will not notice, but when they hear this flute, it disturbs their meditation. Because it's spiritual, so it can enter. But it's so amazing that they can't stay in some of their meditations. And Ananta Dev, who was calmly holding all the planets on his hooves, started moving this way and that, here and there. And the gopis are complaining that the flute is like a bird that enters the ears and makes a nest inside the ears and doesn't want to leave. It stays in the ears. So I guess it would be nice if we also had such problems, that we can't stop hearing the amazing tunes and melodies of Krishna's flute. And even sometimes in Vrindavan, some musician, some brahmachari, or some player, sometimes is sitting somewhere and playing the flute, and you catch the sound, and it's very charming, and you are so attracted. Even though you can hear sometimes, it's not very expert, but it's so charming. Has it happened to you that you heard some flute in Vrindavan?
All Rajmandal Padayatra.
Yeah?
One devotee, who at the morning before rising, before Mangalarti, to awake us. So nice.
Yes.
You hear some recordings?
Of Krishna's flute? No, you don't. Well, there are so many recordings, but it works best if you, I mean, we have, this is, where is it? Why doesn't
Brush glasses, yeah.
it works best if it is I think this should be that. Do I have? It works best if it's unexpected and comes from somewhere around you. Anyway, so even
Is the right tune from Krishna plays or is it just?
Krishna was playing much more interesting.
But in this way maybe.
Prabhupada said, why don't you jump and check? Hey, spiritual world. Okay, so the flute, Krishna's flute, Venu Madhurya, very sweet flute playing. It's very special. Okay, and so, of course, Krishna's flute is super famous and super attractive. And Rupa Madhurya, Krishna's exquisite beauty. Of course, it doesn't mean that Narayana is not beautiful. Narayana is also beautiful. So much beautiful that just by looking at him, we can extinguish all the suffering in our heart. Just by seeing the color of his body, we can extinguish all the suffering. But Krishna is even more amazing in his beauty. So these are the 5 special sweet qualities that Krishna has. Here, Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna's qualities are compared to the ocean. No one can estimate the length and breadth of the ocean. But as one can understand the ocean's contents simply by testing one drop of it, so these statements will give us some understanding of Krishna's transcendental position and qualities. So this verse. So we hear in the beginning, it's considered a very auspicious chapter to recite in the month of Kartik, 14. Shri Brahma Vacha Nomi Dyate Prabhusheta Didambaraya Gunjavatam Satalpicha Vasamukhaya Kanya Sarve Kavalavetra Vishanavenu Lakshman Shri Vidupade Pashupanga Jaya. Lord Brahma is saying, my dear Lord, you are the only worshipable Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore I offer my humble obeisances and prayers just to please you. This was one of the verses that captured Shukadeva Goswami's attention, as we read in the 60th quality, that he attracts even those who are liberated. So he says, you are the son of the king of the cowherds, your transcendental body is dark blue like a new cloud, your garment is brilliant like lightning, and the beauty of your face is enhanced by your gunja earrings and the peacock feather on your head. Wearing garlands of various forest flowers and leaves, and equipped with a herding stick, a buffalo horn, and a flute, you stand beautifully with a morsel of food in your hand. So this is a combination of beauty and simplicity, in a way, like sweet, direct beauty that Krishna is wearing. Not just some jewels, but the forest flowers. Not just diamonds, but the gunja berries. but it's not less wonderful than Vaikuntha. It's actually more wonderful because each of those apparently simple flowers and gunja berries and leaves, they can produce infinite amount of jewels. They are the wish-fulfilling items. So that's Krishna's amazing form. Okay, so these are the 64 qualities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. How should we? And in the text, it just continues, the verses continue in the first chapter, the first wave, but Srila Prabhupada breaks this into the next chapter of the 4 characters. So the 4 main divisions of the character. Dhirodatta, Dhirodarita, Dhiraprashanta, and Dhirodhata. So normally one will be just one character, and the hero will usually just be one type of a character. So these are, Dhirodatta is the most common type of a hero. This is a noble hero. So this is like Lord Ramachandra. So this is...
Some comment on Vinata?
Where? Okay.
Check.
Small peas. They're not peas. Conchals. They're not conchals. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's they may look like tiny conchals, but these are not conchals. They are berries. By the way, they are super poisonous, so one should be very careful. Yeah, they are extremely poisonous actually, but they are very beautiful. And
Sorry. May I ask?
let me finish. They are like, it's not a pea, and it's not really a bean. It's some plant that produces these gunja berries, and they are yellowish reddish, but they look beautiful as a garland. So they are offered especially to Giriraj. So Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to offer gunja berries, a gunja berry necklace or a garland to Giriraj. That's often considered like Radharani expansion with Giriraj.
This was my question.
About Radharani.
About connection Gunja berries and
Radharani, yes.
represent.
Yeah, this is considered, this is why it's considered that, because
it's
embracing,
berries.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so Dhirodatta is the main type of a hero in most stories. He is firm in his vows. He is kind in spite of receiving offenses. And a famous example of such a character is Lord Ramachandra. So Urmila Mataji gives four synonyms to this, that this is the noble hero. Then the next one is Dhira Lalita, the party boy, who is cracking jokes and charming everybody. Then Dhira Prashanta is a noble very peaceful noble gentleman. And Dhirodhata is a bad boy. He's a bad boy who is expert in insulting others and attacking others. So these are normally different characters, different heroes, but Krishna, being transcendental, can combine all of these. So the Lalita definition here is one who is naturally very funny, always in full youthfulness, expert in joking, and free from all anxieties. Yeah. So this is Dhira Lalita. So Krishna in Vrindavan is mostly in this mood of Dhira Lalita. In Vrindavan. So a very famous quote is here about Krishna as Dhira Lalita. Let me see if I can find. Well, I will not be searching for the Sanskrit. That one day Srimati Radharani, accompanied by her associates, was taking rest in her garden, and at that time Lord Shri Krishna arrived in that assembly. After sitting down, he began to narrate very impudently. You know what's impudent? Shameless, brazen, arrogant, proud. Impudently about his previous night's pastimes with Radharani. While he was speaking in that way, Radharani became very embarrassed. So she closed her eyes, and as soon as she closed her eyes, he immediately marked her breasts with the figures of dolphin. So he painted dolphins with tilak on her breasts. So this way he made his youth successful in teachings of Lord Chaitanya and in Charitamrita. This is described like this. So it's mildly embarrassing but funny. So for Krishna, it's very funny. Okay, so this is Krishna as Dhira Lalita, and of course a famous example of that is Cupid. Cupid is supposed to be Dhira Lalita. Then Dhira Prashanta. So Dhira Prashanta already is clear that he is peaceful, very peaceful, nothing can disturb him. So this is a person who is forbearing, means very patient and tolerating, considerate, so he's very attentive. So you see, the example other than Krishna that is given in the Nectar of Devotion is Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira, you can see that he even sends Arjuna to protect even Duryodhana when he's attacked by the Gandharva. Obliging means he's trying to do some kind service to others. So Krishna also is Dhira Prashanta sometimes in some of his pastimes. So the example here is that when he's dealing with the Pandavas, in fact, it's quite interesting that Yudhishthira is doubting his own qualification, and then and admires Prahlad Maharaj in the end of Canto 7. So Narada Muni pacifies him, and he says, "Don't worry. In fact, you are more blessed than Prahlad Maharaj, because this Krishna is acting as your messenger. He acts as your family member. He stays in your house. So in that role, he sometimes plays the role of the Pandavas' charioteer, their advisor, their friend, even sometimes as their bodyguard. So like a very obliging, peaceful, kind gentleman, super reliable, extremely reliable, imperturbable. You cannot disturb Krishna in this role. So Yudhishthira reflects the same mood. Then Dhirodatta. So Dhirodatta, as Urmila Mataji says, it's a bad boy. So envious, proud, easily angered, restless and complacent. Hare Krishna. So this is the famous letter to Kalayavana. So Kalayavana said, you're like a like a black snake, and Krishna says yes, and this black snake will eat wants to eat sinful frogs like you. So only if you hide somewhere in a dark cave, maybe you can be saved. So another example of such a character is Bhima. So Bhima also is easily angered, and he is always insulting the sinful enemies. And Srila Prabhupada writes here that this challenging spirit of Krishna is not contradictory to his sublime character, because he is the Supreme Being. Everything is possible in his character. So even the fact that we are happily laughing when we hear about these descriptions is one of the proofs that in Krishna there is no defects. We also have the list of 18 defects coming in the end of this chapter. Chapter 23, illusion, fatigue, errors, roughness, material lust, restlessness, pride, envy, violence, and so forth, like cheating. And then I think Madhavananda, he gave a whole seminar of how Krishna has all of these 18 faults, manifests these 18 faults.
18 faults.
Do you know the example of when Krishna was cheating?
Yes, one was with Bhishma, Arjuna Bhishma.
And
He said he will not took the weapon and interfere.
so he upheld Bhishma's promise. Or anger, some example of anger. Krishna. He was angry at Duryodhana, he was angry at the Kauravas. He was even angry at Bhishma, as you the same example. He was very rushed, and Arjuna was holding him by the feet. Famous picture how Arjuna is trying to hold him by the feet, and Bhishma happily meditated on this picture as he was dying. He was so happy to meditate. Okay, so it's just a proof of the variety of qualities that Krishna manifests, but Krishna has no material qualities, and if he shows something or errors, some famous stories, you know about Krishna making errors. I think Prabhupada was giving some examples. Krishna making a mistake.
Milking the bull.
Milking the bull, yes. When he saw Srimati Radharani looked at him, instead of milking a cow, he went to milk a bull. Okay, so Krishna is full of all amazing qualities and full of all variety.
One question. Is this qualification of Dhirodata and so on, this is used also in analyzing the collector of personalities?
I was thinking 4 temperaments. I was trying to connect them. So Dhirodata, this last one, Dhirodata, would be something like a red choleric, easy to become angry, but very dominating, very harsh and quick. Then Dhira Prashanta would be like a peaceful phlegmatic, green peaceful phlegmatic, yes. Then it's a little, even in the material sense, they say that these four temperaments are not really a good descriptor of the temperaments people have. Still, it's probably helpful, as far as I understand, it's helpful to try to understand what temperament the other person is, because at least we are trying to understand the other person. Allow that they may be different, and they may have a temperament. So we allow them to have some character and some nature. We don't demand that they are just exactly like us or like what we expect from. So yeah, so Dhirodata. So who else do we have? We have a melancholic, and Dhirodata will be like a sanguinic, the joyful, peaceful hero who is solving every problem. Oh no, this is more like Dhira Lalita, right? And yeah, it doesn't match quite. Always one is falling out. So yeah, we always try to connect them to some. We have the 9 characters of Enneagram, 16 characters of Myers-Briggs or socionics, which also is broken into 4 main characters. So again, the value of all these is mostly that you are attentive to the other person. And you're trying. If it fits in some way, okay. So some people may manifest, but also not all the time. Plus, personality is fluid for our life. We are not always maintaining this personality. Okay, so how about, do you understand these 4 characters? Do we remember these 4 characters? Let me see if we have this one chart with the 4. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here's this list. Noble hero, romantic party boy, peaceful gentleman, and the haughty bad boy.
This also can be described as a mood.
It's more than a mood, because it's mostly, for Krishna, maybe it's a mood, but usually this will be, for a hero in some story, this will be usually steady manifestation of a certain character. Classical types of heroic personalities. So apparently Bharata Muni takes the 4 kinds of heroes in the drama, classifying them into these 4 categories. And Rupa Goswami takes this to take the opportunity to show how Krishna is all 4. He's not just one of them, but all 4. He's the ultimate hero. So we have another chart here, how Krishna is 96, is manifesting 96 types of, so there are 96 types of heroes or lovers. So Krishna is all of them. So these 4, plus the 4 kinds of interaction, plus the 3 levels of sweetness, and pati and upapati, husband or a paramour. So this way you get 96 types of heroes or lovers, romantic heroes. So Krishna is all of them. And female, Rupa Goswami in Ujjvala Nilamani gives 360 types of heroines, romantic heroines. Okay, so can I ask you, how many people do we have?
Vinata has hands really.
Okay, Vinata Madri, yes, please.
I'm sorry, I'm not turning this on because my internet connection is bad today, the video. But I wanted to just, it reminded me how I listened to Urmila Mataji's presentation about 4 types of personality according to some mundane classification, some DISC, I think, something like that.
DISC, yeah.
Yes, and she said that main criteria are like project-oriented or people-oriented, introvert or extrovert, and then the mixture of this. We have these 4 types. And then when we were going through it, then we came to the conclusion that that typology, that classification corresponds with this, this here. That these 4 types of Krishna's personality can be classified according to that criteria.
Thank you. So disc. They have mapped the disc onto the 4 classic temperaments, but then can you find who is melancholic among these 4?
There is no melancholic. The description there, according to her, was project-oriented and introvert, project-oriented and extrovert, people-oriented and introvert, and people-oriented and extrovert. Those were that was the classification. And she even gave, but I was looking for my notes, I couldn't find. She even gave the famous personalities in our movement, whom she finds that they belong to these categories, like gurus, preachers.
But this was not in the Nectar of Devotion, right? It was some other seminar.
No. It was another seminar.
She was teaching that. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so melancholic, blue melancholic corresponds to project introvert, project-oriented introvert. He is very orderly, very systematic, and not very oriented towards people. So whoever among those, so that that would be melancholic. That's how they map. But again, it's all a little bit abstract and conventional. It's not perfectly apt to describe the human nature, but it is helpful, definitely.
I think that for that project-oriented and introvert, she gave the example of Ramapada Swami. And for project-oriented and extrovert, Tamal Krishna Goswami. For people-oriented and extrovert, Indradyumna Swami. And for people-oriented and introvert, Radhanath Swami.
Oh, nice. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. I don't know Ramapad Maharaj so closely, but thank you, yes. Okay, so the 4 characters. So, I wanted to ask you to find one. So I was telling you to find which qualities your heroes, maybe before you became a devotee, you had some literary hero, I don't know, Sherlock Holmes or some Harry Potter, or although it's probably whoever it is, which qualities of Krishna does he manifest? But it's probably even easier to find, if you have some hero, which of the 4 classic heroes does he fit into? So, can you think of some?
Common hero. Common hero. Durudata.
When I was a girl, I was into James Bond, and it was Roger Moore who was the actor. He's definitely Dila Lalita.
Dila Lalita, okay.
James Bond.
Okay, now Dhira Prashanta, who can come up with some? I think I already named him. Probably 2. Sherlock Holmes, or this Phineas Fogg, who traveled around the world in 80 days. Very peaceful English gentleman, who is prepared for everything. Yeah. Any other?
What's his name?
Phineas Fogg? Phineas Fogg? I think that was his name, if I remember correctly. It was Jules Verne. Dhirodata. Do we have some literary example or film example of a classic bad boy?
Classic bad boy.
Clint Eastwood was featuring something, but I forgot what was his name.
Who?
Clint Eastwood, he had a role, but I forgot the role.
But he's usually not a bad boy. Clint Eastwood is usually also some either noble hero or
Oh,
Is
he was
it?
a policeman, but he was.
Dirty Harry. Dirty
Yes,
Harry.
yes.
Go ahead, punk, make my day.
yes, that one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that fits. Yeah, nice. Dirty Harry. Go ahead, punk. Try to shoot, make my day. yeah, that's.
But he also had the famous one, a man has to know his limitations,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
which is a good one.
All right. And classic noble hero. Who do you have as a classic noble hero?
John Wayne.
Ooh.
It's westerns, right?
If you know what is behind
Yeah.
it, I wouldn't think he's a hero.
I mean, he's a drama hero. So that's the four types of the dramatic heroes offered. And so Krishna is all of them. Anyway, so this is just so that
He's
we...
bad boy, eh? He's a bad boy. But Dhirodata is
Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah, so which one Mahatma Gandhi is?
Dhirodata, no?
Dhirodata, the noble hero. Okay, he's challenging the empire and winning. Yes, okay, nice. It's a good one.
And one elder and one elder.
There are two Dhirodata. Huh?
One is Dhirodata and the other one is Dhira Uddhata. They're all heroes. Dhira means like a fixed, right? And one is Uddhata is
Yes, there are two D.
plus H.
Yes.
And Nelson Mandela.
Who?
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela as the noble hero. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay. Some revolutionaries who are able to... and you can see, I think he has forgiven the president who put him in jail for how many, 20 years or something. And he shook his hands, right? Shook his hand. And he said, if I couldn't forgive, I would not be able to lead the nation. Right? So that's very amazing. Amazing greatness of character. Okay, thank you. Excellent. All right, so, and Krishna has all these qualities to infinite degree and more. Hare Krishna. So, may Krishna be my hero in my life all the time. And in your life, I hope. Okay. Now we have a chapter that's only given a few... Okay, let me... A few words in the waves of devotion. So this is 24. Further traits of Sri Krishna. So these describe Krishna as Vishaya Alambana, as the basis, who is the object of our love, but they are also, from another perspective, as I mentioned in the beginning, they could be also understood as Uddipanas, if we meditate, and not only understood, but we are experiencing this, as we are reading about these qualities of Krishna. In general, if you put it on anybody else, it's just a very dry list. But when applied to Krishna, it attracts our hearts and ears. So when we are reading the Nectar of Devotion, even though we say, oh, it's so far, oh, I'm so unqualified, oh, I don't have love. But when somebody, in many temples, this is the book that's read in the morning, that is read in the morning. So when somebody reads this chapter, it still is very attractive. So these are further traits of Krishna, chapter 24. Decorated. So this is Shobha, Vilasa, Madhurya, Mangalya, Starya, Teja, Lalita, and Audarya. And decorated is described as a person who is decorated with the qualities of being very merciful toward the unfortunate. Do we like that Krishna is decorated with this quality. I think it's very fortunate for the unfortunate me if my Krishna is decorated with a very merciful attitude. Very powerful, superior, chivalrous, enthusiastic. So is it good that Krishna is enthusiastic? I think it's very good, because even I may lose enthusiasm, but at least Krishna is enthusiastic, so he may keep sending some special blessings. And he's expert and truthful. Then the example here that Krishna wanted to punish Indra heavily, but then he changed his mind and felt merciful. So Indra took Brahma's advice and he brought Surabhi. Surabhi asked for forgiveness. She coronated Krishna as Govindra, the king of cows in the universe, instead of this useless Manchakalpatarubhashcha Indra for the cows, because he attacked the Vrindavan cows. So, okay, so then Shobha, that's then Vilasa, enjoying or performing pastimes, enjoying pastimes. So when a person is seen to be always happy, accustomed to speak smilingly, he's considered to be in the mode of enjoyment. This trait was found in Krishna when he appeared at the sacrificial arena of King Kamsa. This is the one that is... no, that's another substance. So, pleasing. One day Krishna was awaiting the arrival of Srimati Radharani. My God, even Krishna has to wait sometimes. You can't even escape waiting if you're God. But he was doing this happily. And what did he do? He began to make a garland of Kadamba flowers. Yeah, so you can see he's manifesting a very pleasing nature, which in Sanskrit is called madhurya, sweet. Dependable. So any person who is reliable in all circumstances. So even demons were relying upon the dependability of Krishna. They were confident that Krishna would never attack them without the cause. You remember yesterday what specified the demons when they were thinking about Krishna? What pacified the demons? So there was a funny quote that the demons thought that, no worries, I can fight with Krishna because if there is a real danger, I can just surrender to Krishna and he will not kill me, or he will protect me, he will bless me.
Where was this?
I think it was Pranata, protector of the surrendered.
All in the qualities.
Yeah, the quality. Okay, dependable. Then steady. Not disturbed even in a situation of reverses. Stairya, very steady. Predominating, we already had this, predominating. A person who can affect the mind of everyone. Oh, nowadays we call them influencer. Influencer.
Oh, yes.
We have a new modern word for that. An influencer, yes. Teja, how are you, Krishna?
There's a hand. Lamp.
Okay, yes, go ahead, Vinada Mataji.
I was just reading in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about this, it was dependable, and it is Mangalyam here. Mangalyam, yes. Being the object of faith for the world, is called having auspiciousness. I just wanted to share it, like a nice formulation. Being the object of faith for the world.
Object of?
Faith.
Faith.
Faith for the world is called having auspiciousness. And then there is this example with the demons having no fear, knowing that if they surrender, they will be protected.
Nice. Thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, Teja, we have. So we have the example of how Krishna is all 12 rasas in the arena of Kamsa. So nobody could turn away from Krishna. So everybody had to have some rasa toward Krishna, which is quite amazing. And one comment is that he is intolerant of being neglected. So that's again, of the 4 characters, which character is that? Intolerant of being neglected.
Dira Lalita?
No. I mean, yeah, he's winning you, but he's not intolerant. Dhirodhata, yes. He will attack. So, when Kamsa was insulting Krishna's parents, Krishna was glancing over Kamsa with longing eyes, just like a prostitute at a rich customer. Such a...
Hey.
Hare Krishna. No. Okay. Then meticulous dresser. This is Lalita. Very artistic. Not only he is a meticulous dresser, he's also expert in decorating others. So that's for Srimati Radharani. I think, let me check if we have this. These are the, okay. 18 folds, and this is, yeah, we have this picture here. So that's a very famous picture. Actually, both, the first picture we saw today with the Rasa Lila and this one is in Shringarvat. These 2 pictures are worshipped there on the altar in Shringarvat, where this is supposed to have happened. It's also known as Nityanandavat, where Nityananda was staying when he came to Vrindavan. And Shringarvat, this is supposed to be the place where Krishna proved how that he's a meticulous dresser. He can decorate Srimati Radharani's hair very nicely. Okay, and the next one is magnanimous, one who can give even his soul to the others. Somehow it reminds me of Srila Prabhupada pointing to Yamuna Devi and saying that in India, she said, for me, she will cut her throat, and for her, I will cut my throat too.
It was with Malati.
I think it was Yamuna, no?
I heard Malati personally telling this story.
Oh, okay. Maybe. They were together, I think, at that time. Yamuna,
She said that she was serving, that it was when she was serving, there was Prabhupada with his god brothers, and she cooked for him, and then she was serving, and she said she covered herself with a sari and practically going on her knees there to give the food to Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada noticed how they were looking at her like Mlecha and lady and everything. And then she said that she's completely devoted to me and I would also cut my throat for her. That's what she told.
Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe I just remember wrongly. Yes. So you can see that even Prabhupada, even to his disciples, he is so completely dedicated. So that's this quality, magnanimous. Mm-hmm. So Krishna is magnanimous. Krishna is also like this in his relationships with the devotees. So even though he is personally independent, he's independent, but out of his causeless mercy, he depends upon Gargarishi for religious instruction, upon Satyaki for the military art, and for good counsel upon his friend Uddhava, and as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So for philosophical discussions, he's depending upon who? Who read or heard Chaitanya Charitamrita? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dependent upon for philosophical discussions.
Sarvama.
Sarvama Vadacharya, yes. For Rasika discussions, upon?
Rupa.
No.
Ramananda Roy.
Ramananda Roy, yes.
Ramananda.
Hence, yeah, Ramananda Roy. Who else was there? So you can see that he's glorifying them and listening to them extensively. And he invited Ramananda Roy to give up his government service and come and live with him in Jagannath Puri, so he shows how he's closely connected. Okay, now we are going to chapter 25, which mentions devotees of Krishna. So here the discussion is of different, so because alambana means ashraya. Who is the ashraya? Who is this vessel of love? And this is a devotee. So there are different kinds of devotees, sadhaka and siddha, right? So for siddha is somebody who never experiences any material distress, so somebody who is never under the influence of time, who is always in the happiness of uninterrupted prema. And then among them, Rupa Goswami, so these are siddha, yeah? So among them, he speaks about nitya siddha and then samprapta siddha, those who became perfect. And among those who became perfect, he points out those who have attained their perfection through practice. So the example is Markandeya Rishi, described in Canto 12. He was very thoroughly and carefully practicing devotional service and got blessings, and also in the previous life. And so that's sadhana siddha, and then kripa siddha. Kripa siddha, who are the examples of kripa siddhi? Perfection by mercy.
Dvijapatnis.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Dvijapatnis, those who the wives of the Yagika Brahmanas. So there is a verse quoted from the Bhagavatam where the Brahmanas are cursing, saying, "Dhik, Janma, dhik, to hell with our this, with our that, because we were afraid of Kamsa and our wives have run to feed Krishna." So they were perfect by some hearing of Krishna's qualities from the Vrindavan milk ladies and flower ladies, bringing some Vrindavan products to the outskirts of Mathura, Kripa siddha. Then some other examples are Bali and Shukadev Goswami. So, yes, Shukadev Goswami is here given. Why? Because you never took the trouble to reside in the ashram, you know. He didn't even get initiation.
No.
No?
No, he
No.
just left his father.
No, no Brahmin thread, but you can see that he's always addressed as Brahman by Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, so these are some classifications. There is also this verse that Nitya Siddhas can also possess 55 qualities. So that's even in Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion, that they have the first 55 without any doubt. So not only in the Sanskrit, but even in the Nectar of Devotion, you see that. So apparently this is the such a corner, such a wrinkle in Prabhupada's books that few devotees reach it, and few devotees read it, and few devotees remember it, notice, read it in the awake state of mind, the mind to remember that Krishna's associates may also have 55 qualities. Okay, so Nityasiddha, so these devotees, sadhakas and siddhas, so there is some discussion about who is the sadhaka who can have the flow of love towards Krishna. So there are several quotes to describe that these are devotees on the level of bhava, who have bhava. So naturally they will have a very natural active flow of love towards Krishna. But we also do read that there exists such a phenomenon as rati abhas, also in this book, a glimpse or a little, how do you call it, a little first light, little glimmer of ecstatic love for Krishna. How do you say this in Slovenian? When you, the first light, first rays, glimmer. Am I on?
In Croatian, we say tračak.
Račak.
Oh, yes, preblisk. Preblisk, yeah. This is what we say, problisk. Yeah. Like a little, so a little glimmer can come through. So either through the cloud of anarthas or reflected in some other, even in some other desires, even in non-devotees. Sometimes. Vinata Mataji, you have a question? You have a hand raised?
Yes, I have. I started to type. I just wanted to ask, this sadhaka mentioned here is not the sadhaka as we understand it up to bhava, but this sadhaka is then one who has reached bhava.
Did you hear?
This verse here says, at least in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, when it starts about ashraya, alambana ashraya, he says those whose hearts are full of attraction for Krishna are called the devotees of Krishna. And the explanation is that is bhava bhaktas.
Yes.
Jiva Goswami says those are bhava bhaktas.
Yes.
But still then it says the devotees are said to be of two types, sadhakas and siddhas. So these sadhakas are not, we usually say that sadhana leads to bhava. So one on bhava we would not call him sadhaka. But here it seems that this term is used differently.
Yes.
Am I right or I got it something wrong?
I thought we have just discussed this, but this is a comment given by our Bhanuswami, yes.
Yeah, this term sadhaka should not be confused with sadhana bhakti. It is 147, the page.
I'm trying to see if I can find it in no, I don't have it. Okay.
Which shloka is?
No, it's not shloka. It's maybe sadhaka. Okay, 1275.
7.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, at the end of, at least for me, at the end of the next page, there is a...
Yes, so he says that basically this doesn't refer to sadhana as defined in the beginning as that which is aimed at reaching bhava, should not be confused with sadhana bhakti, which ends with the appearance of rati, according to those definitions.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, he defines this as someone who has reached already the true love of Krishna, but just in the beginning, and he continues practicing. Still, so this in Sanskrit is called Rati, but Rupa Goswami speaks about Rati Abhas. So we may not have our love or bhava or rati or true attraction, but we may sometimes have some reflection of this. And we want this, so there is a discussion that if you do not commit offenses, in the beginning when we're in the eastern side of the ocean, it says that if a sadhaka does not commit offenses, then rati abhas can transform into rati. Of course, it's too late for some of us. You have already committed offenses, and it already has not transformed. But, but it is possible. He mentions that, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that this is possible. That Rati Abhas, the glimmer of Rati, can transform into true Rati or Bhava. But as I'm saying, even at the earliest, even for non-devotees, this Pratibimba Rati Abhas, mirror, bright reflection of ecstatic love, still it's very valuable, and it can purify us and lead us forward in our devotional service. So let us go to this we ran, right? Yes. So yeah. Chapter 26 gives one chapter for Dipanas. So it's interesting how Srila Prabhupada followed a certain logical, you can basically participate in Srila Prabhupada's study, because in the Sanskrit you can see that it just goes straight, one verse after another. It's just after verse 300 you get verse 301, and then you have 84 verses about Uddipanas. But Srila Prabhupada analyzes and divides this. Okay, these were devotees. Before it were, the 8 additional qualities. And now what you have are these. And Uddipanas are classified as 4 kinds of Uddipanas, or stimulants, or triggers to get the flow of our love. So these are guna, qualities, cheshta, activities, rupa, the form, and prakirna means like scattered different qualities. And these were like his horn, his garland. So a very beautiful description of Krishna's horn is there. Where is the horn? How is it called?
Mandragosh.
That's the name of his horn, yeah? Mandragosh. So do you remember the description about his horn? Buffalo horn. Yes, it is said that Taravali was bitten by the most venomous snake of Krishna's flute. Then, in order to neutralize the poisonous effect of this flute, she drank the milk produced by the buffalo horn in the hand of Krishna. So she was hoping, that okay, that was flute, this is the buffalo horn, so it will neutralize the poison. But instead of decreasing the poisonous effect, it increased it 1,000 times. The gopi was thus put into the most miserable poisoned condition. So be careful. Never go to Vrindavan. If you happen to go to Vrindavan, don't go there at Kartik. If you go there at Kartik, don't go to Kashigat. If you go to Kashigat, never look at the threefold bending Krishna. And never listen to the flute. And if you listen to the flute, don't listen to the buffalo horn, because you'll be totally poisoned. So that's the Atishayokti, how is it called? It's the glorification through the opposite. But it's very, very humorous. Okay, so this is part of Prakirna. So Rupa, yes, Krishna's form, Krishna's activities and Krishna's guna, qualities. So his qualities are divided into body, mind, and words. Then his body, this is divided into, his softness is described. What's the softness of Krishna's body? Who has read the Nectar of Devotion?
His body is so soft that when a leaf touches it, it changes color.
Yes. It becomes what color?
Oh, I forgot.
White.
Why? Because otherwise he's blue.
Yes. So if you touch, yes, if somebody comes to the temple and claims he's Krishna, say, wait, we'll bring a leaf. Shastra says, if you touch here, so then show you, then touch. Yeah? Is it white? Ah. Sorry, Prabhu. we were ready to throw ourselves at your feet, but... Okay, ornaments, beauty and age. So age is divided into three, Kaumara, Poganda and Kaishora. So after Kaishora comes Yovana, means like young man or woman, but Krishna is a Kaishora, an eternal teenager. But he is a nice teenager. He's not parents' horror. So it's 5, 5, 5. 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. And these are most suited to different leelas. So for parents, Kumara is the most stimulating to when they meditate on Krishna's Kumara age. For friends, Pauganda, maybe you can see the children coming. So when they are this age, between roughly 5 and 10, they jump, they run, they play, right? So they are, that's probably their biggest exploration of social ties and friendships. Who was climbing the trees when you were playing?
I fell from the tree.
Or if we grew up in the city, we were climbing probably the construction sites or something with our friends. Yes. So these are, in case of Krishna, these are also becoming uddipanas, which when described, they trigger our emotions flowing towards Krishna. So you can see very systematic description by Srila Rupa Goswami. Then we have also some other uddipanas, which, these are in Prakirana, So like places of pastimes, Krishna's devotees, Tulasi, even Tulasi baths, and special days like Ekadashi and Janmashtami, and like Kartik Kijai, yes. So they can trigger. So you may remember Gaur Kishore Das Babaji said to his servant that today we will have a big celebration and we will feast. Oh, what? So shall I go buy milk? No, we will feast on the holy name. We will fast the whole day and just chant. Hare Krishna. Okay, so I think I already posted this before, that when described, so Prabhupada writes this in the beginning of this chapter, that the same qualities can be part of Vishaya Alambana or Uddipana. So some things which give impetus. that when we, okay, it's in the, no? So it can be both a Vishaya and Uddipana. So when we speak about Krishna, to describe Krishna, then this is Vishaya, but for a devotee it acts as an Uddipana, as the trigger that stimulates our, yeah, it's there. There's no difference, yes, just a little down. There's no difference between Krishna and his body. No difference. Therefore, the transcendental features are the same as Krishna himself, but because these qualities stimulate the devotee's ecstatic love, they have been analyzed as separate causes of that love. So this is like a special projection or aspect or viewpoint that analyzes aspects of Krishna or features of Krishna from the point of view of what stimulates our love. And already from the introduction we have heard that Krishna means Krishna and his devotees. So therefore we see Krishna and his devotees, Krishna and Kurukshetra and garlands. So you have a funny quote that some sages say that Krishna went to the Kurukshetra to show everybody how beautiful his garlands are. That's why he attended the battle at Kurukshetra. And when a devotee is encountering these features, then it helps us to get the loving feelings flow. So again, all our sadhana is meant to meet some of the uddipanas and redirect the flow towards Krishna as the object of our love. So whatever we do, that's the idea, that we redirect either just by seeing the beautiful deity, for example, or hearing the beautiful names, or by reading and studying, we understand, okay, I'm not the enjoyer. Oh, it's not supposed to be for my pleasure. It's for Krishna's pleasure. Okay, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so this concludes the first wave, Vibhava, a very nectarian part. So please read forward the Anubhava description. And we continue on Monday or on?
Maybe Tuesday, I will announce.
Tuesday, okay. So there will be a separate announcement, either Monday or Tuesday, probably at 12 noon, Central European time. So meanwhile, please remember that we try to collect as many qualities from specific qualities, not generic, that all the qualities, but specific qualities from Namami Shwaram Satchidananda Rupam, the Namodarashtaka, and we meditate on some of your personal, most favorite qualities of Krishna during your japa and other forms of sadhana. So happy flow of Vibhava and happy triggers for the proper flow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Pancha kalpatarubhishcha kripa sindhubhyo.
Namam Namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Today is the Namahata day, right? That's why everybody is out.